But get this.
This resignation is not consistent with conversations I had with Jody a few weeks ago when I asked her to serve as Canada's Minister for Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defence, nor is it consistent with the conversations we've had lately.
She's not consistent. That's code for she's lying. She never told me she was upset. She seemed fine with all this. I'm so disappointed in this little liar. Sorry, this inconsistent person. Here's more, and this was an announcement about buses, and he was going to throw her under a bus, as they say. Take a look.
In regards to the matter of SNC-Lavalin, let me be direct. The Government of Canada did its job, and to the clear public standards expected of it. If anyone felt differently, they had an obligation to raise that with me. No one, including Jody, did that.
Everyone else at that press conference was called by their title, Mayor Bowman, but not the first Aboriginal Attorney General in history. She's just Jody. She's just some silly girl who got in over her head, probably promoted too fast, couldn't keep up, couldn't keep her story straight. She was inconsistent. Jody. What a shame that Jody couldn't fit in with the boys. Jody's what you call a girl, not a woman, not the first Justice Minister who's Aboriginal, Jody. And by the way, just in case you didn't know, Justin Trudeau has checked, and Justin Trudeau did his job. Just in case you want to know, Justin Trudeau's always looked into things, and the government did its job. No one complained to him. So obviously everything's fine. I mean, that is the test, right? If he says everything's fine. Literally dozens, more than 100 meetings between SNC-Lavalin and everyone that could lobby on Parliament Hill. A dozen meetings in the Prime Minister's office itself. And hey guys, no one complained. I mean, sure, they're all Montreal Liberals. They're all in on the take. They all know how it goes. Not Jody. So absolutely, I mean, Justin Trudeau says it, so you know it's true. The government made decisions and had things to say about criminal cases, but no one complained. Yeah, no, you corrupt little man. Governments don't decide what crimes are prosecuted and what are not in Canada. That's for prosecutors to decide independently. We don't prosecute or don't prosecute people based on political lobbying. It's a nonpartisan branch of government. Here's more from this little corrupt man. He's Justin. She's Mrs. Wilson-Raybould. Take a look.
This morning, I convened a cabinet meeting to inform my colleagues of Jody's departure. Minister Sajjan has immediately taken over Jody's responsibilities as Acting Minister of Veterans Affairs. We are as committed as ever to ensuring that Canada's veterans receive the care and support of a grateful nation. I know that Minister Sajjan will serve our women and men in uniform and our veterans with dedication.
Silly little Jody. A grown-up will take over, and his name is Minister Sajjan. Don't know if you caught that. I mean, sure. He's got a pretty bad case of what they call stolen valor. He took credit for battle plans that he had no role in, or a minuscule role. But look, that just shows he gets it, how the system works, unlike little Jody. Little Jody, I mean, look, Sajjan, Minister Sajjan, he knows who's boss. This guy's boss.
First of all, why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they're asking for more than we are able to give right now.
Little Jody, don't you know? Here's some more from our great leader yesterday.
So are you willing to waive that privilege? Would you like to get a full airing of this before it goes any further?
Indeed, I've heard those calls and take them very seriously, and that's why I've asked our current Minister of Justice and Attorney General to make recommendations to me on the question of solicitor-client privilege. I will highlight, however, that there's a real danger that's been flagged for me of unintended consequences, particularly because there are 2 court cases ongoing directly related to this matter that could be impacted by such a decision we might make. I will highlight once again that I am surprised and disappointed, and to be honest, don't entirely understand why Jody Wilson-Raybould made the decision she did.
He's not going to do it, in case you don't know. He's not going to waive solicitor-client privilege. He's not going to let her off the hook. He's not going to let her answer his challenges because he doesn't want to let her speak. He wants to be able to speak for her. So little Jody, you know, we can't trust her to say the right things anymore. She's no longer in cabinet. Trudeau no longer has power over her. Now, Stephen Harper, by contrast, waived his legal privilege when there were legal matters afoot under his tenure. Not only did Harper waive privilege, but he sent his various chiefs of staff, as you can see here, to testify before parliamentary committee openly when they were asked to. You can see his chiefs here, Ian Brodie, Nigel Wright, Guy Giorno. Do you think Trudeau would do that? Do you think he'd let Gerald Butts go and answer questions about his 12 meetings with SNC-Lavalin? By this point in the Mike Duffy affair, by the way, Chief of Staff Nigel Wright had resigned from Stephen Harper's office. Just to remind you, Mike Duffy, the senator, was being scrutinized for about 90 grand worth of travel and housing expenses. The question was, did he really live in Prince Edward Island or did he live in Ottawa? How many days in each? Because that affected how much of his travel and housing in each city would be paid for by taxpayers. He had one position, it was questioned. Nigel Wright, the chief of staff, was frustrated with his quarrel. He thought it was a waste of time over nothing. 90 grand isn't nothing, but he was an independently wealthy man. So he literally reached into his own pocket as an independently wealthy man and cut a check from his own account to the government just to repay the expenses, just to end the ethical question mark. That was the scandal. That was the big scandal of Harper's 9.5 years as Prime Minister. A chief of staff paying money into the government to repay questionable expenses. The second biggest scandal, of course, was a $16 bottle of orange juice. And here we're talking about 50-plus lobbying meetings to let criminals off the hook for $48 million worth of bribes in a third world country. Jody just doesn't understand. And Trudeau can't understand her. I mean, really, she's the one to blame.
If anyone, particularly the Attorney General, felt that we were not doing our job fully, responsibly, and according to all the rules as a government, it was her responsibility to come forward to me this past fall and highlight that directly to me. She did not. Nobody did. And that's why I continue to be puzzled and obviously disappointed by her decision to step down from cabinet.
So, if anything here is wrong, it's her fault. Because she didn't say he was doing things wrong, so he didn't. It's her fault. And he's just so disappointed in her. She really let him down. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day, I do a video monologue, and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.